Dust motes danced lazily in the shafts of afternoon sunlight filtering through the yellowed lace curtains. Eleanor sat in her worn armchair, gazing at the grand piano that stood like a silent sentinel in the corner of the living room. Its polished black surface was dulled by years of neglect, a thick layer of dust blanketing the closed lid. 20 years had passed since any fingers had last caressed its ivory keys, 20 years since Robert drew his final breath. Robert had been her partner in everything, especially music. They met at a recital, fell in love over shared sheets of Beethoven and Chopin, and filled their home with duets that made the walls sing. When cancer stole him away far too young, the music stopped. Eleanor couldn't bear the echo of his laughter in every note, the ghost of his hands beside hers on the bench. So the piano remained sealed, a tomb for happier times. Now 78, Eleanor's world was small and quiet. Her grown children lived in distant cities, their visits rare. The neighborhood had turned over, old friends gone, new faces unknown. She tended her roses, read her books, and let the days drift by in solitude, until the moving truck pulled up next door. A young family arrived, Mark and Sarah, both busy professionals, and their 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had wild curly hair, bright green eyes, and boundless energy. She explored every corner of the street, and one sunny afternoon, she appeared at Eleanor's garden gate. "Your flowers are so pretty," Lily exclaimed. Eleanor, kneeling among the roses, looked up and managed a small smile. "Thank you, dear. Would you like one?" That simple exchange sparked something. Lily began visiting regularly, chattering about school, drawing pictures, asking endless questions. She soon spotted the piano through the living room window. "Is that a real grand piano? Do you play it?" "I used to," Eleanor replied, her voice catching. "Please play something for me one day." Eleanor gently deflected, but Lily's earnest plea lingered. On a rainy afternoon, Lily knocked, drenched from the walk home. Eleanor couldn't turn her away. She ushered the girl inside for hot cocoa and cookies. Lily's eyes went straight to the piano. "May I touch it?" Heart pounding, Eleanor lifted the fallboard for the first time in 2 decades. The keys were slightly yellowed and in need of tuning, but they were there. Lily pressed a few random notes, giggling at the sounds. "It's like magic. Sit here," Eleanor heard herself say. She sat beside the child and played a simple scale, then the gentle opening of Clair de Lune. Lily listened in rapt silence, eyes shining. "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Please teach me." Eleanor meant to say no. Music belonged to the past. But looking at Lily's hopeful face, she whispered, "Perhaps just the basics." One lesson became daily visits. Eleanor had the piano professionally tuned. She dusted the bench, found old beginner books in the attic, and began teaching scales, finger positions, simple melodies. Lily was a natural, eager, patient, joyful. As her small hands stumbled through exercises, Eleanor felt echoes of teaching her own children long ago. But none had loved it like Lily. One evening, as Lily practiced a tricky passage and grew frustrated, Eleanor placed a hand over hers. "Mistakes are just steps, dear. My Robert used to say the heart speaks through music, and hearts are never perfect." Lily looked up. "Tell me about him." So Eleanor did. Stories of late-night duets, dancing barefoot in the living room, composing silly songs for anniversaries. Tears came as she spoke, but they felt cleansing. Lily shared too, how her parents were always working, how she sometimes felt invisible. "But here, with you, I feel special." "You are special," Eleanor said fiercely, hugging her. On the 20th anniversary of Robert's death, a day Eleanor usually spent in silent mourning, Lily arrived with a handmade card covered in hearts and musical notes. "I practiced something special," she announced. "Your favorite duet, Heart and Soul. I learned the top part." Eleanor's breath caught. That boogie-woogie tune had been hers and Robert's playful favorite. They sat together at the bench, Lily's small frame beside Eleanor's frail one. At first the notes were hesitant, slightly off time. Then something shifted. Rhythm locked in, harmony swelled. The room filled with lively, loving sound. Memories flooded Eleanor. Robert's grinning face, his strong hands flying over the keys, their laughter when they raced to the end. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she was smiling, truly smiling, for the first time in years. When the final chord rang out, Lily threw her arms around her. "I felt him here with us," Eleanor whispered, voice breaking. "Thank you, my sweet girl. From that day forward, the house lived again. Music poured from the open windows, scales, sonatinas, joyful duets. Lily brought light into Eleanor's days, and Eleanor gave Lily the steady love she craved. Years later, when Lily performed on grand stages as a concert pianist, she always dedicated her encores to Grandma Ellie and the grandfather whose music brought us together. But in that quiet living room, on countless afternoons, the melody of memories continued to play, a timeless bond of loss, healing, and unbreakable love.